Hello guys, welcome back to my channel. This is part 9 of our UiPath tutorial series, and in this session we are going to talk about something that looks very simple but is super powerful, that is a string manipulation. So what is a string manipulation? When we do real world automation, 70 to 80% of the time we work with strings. So like extracting data from emails or some files, PDFs, website, and these all data comes in text format. So when we get these texts, we might need to extract some part of the text or username from the email ID or format the text, or we might need to remove unwanted spaces or making it uppercase or lowercase. So all those things are part of a string manipulation. So if you want to become an expert, you must know how to handle strings. So now let's see some basic string functions. You can see here we have ToUpper, ToLower, trim, trim start, trim end, length, contains, replace, IndexOf, substring, a split, join, a StartsWith, EndsWith. These are some basic string functions which you can use in UiPath. So as you can see, ToUpper is to convert the string to uppercase, ToLower is to convert to lowercase, trim is to trim the leading or trailing spaces, trim start also works same as trim only, but it removes a space from a start, trim end removes a space from end. Now the next one is length. So if you want to know the number of characters in a string, you can use length function. Then we have contains. So suppose that you want to check if an string contains a particular character or a substring, you can use contains. Then we have replace. If you want to replace some text in a string, then we have IndexOf. If you want to extract the position of a character, then we have substring. Substring is for extracting part of a string, and like this we have other functions as well. There are some use cases here. So suppose that you want to clean your data, then you can use trim or dot, ToLower or ToUpper. So as you can see in the example, we have Indian written where we have a spaces and also n is in a uppercase. We can convert it to lowercase like this, and also we can trim it. Then if you want to extract username from a email address, you can use substring and IndexOf. Like we have to use combined of two functions, then only we will be able to extract ABC. Then suppose that you want to check the file extension, you can use EndsWith like this. If you want to generate some dynamic folder names, you can use replace or .ToUpper or other functions as well. If you want to split the text, you can use a split function. If you want to combine an array, you can use a string.join. If you want to check a string which starts with some string, you can use a StartsWith. If you want to know the length of the string, you can use length. So these are some basic functions or the use cases. Now let's go straight into the hands-on session. This is UiPath Studio, and let's create a new process. We'll give it name as string manipulation. Okay, so we have created a new project, a string manipulation, and we have a main sequence here. So let's create a variable first. So we'll put input a string, and let's take one assign activity. Okay, and let's give some text here. So now you can see we have this is a text data, but there are variances in the character uppercase and lowercase, and we have some spaces here. So if you want to remove the space and also you want to make it in lowercase or uppercase, you can use a function. So you can either use one more assign activity, and then let's make one more variable output a string. And in this assign activity, you can put output a string, and in the value to save field, we can put input a string dot trim, and then dot, we can make it ToUpper, and then this function is done. And let's take one message box, and let's now run it. So now you can see here we had this data. This is a text data, and there were spaces, but there is no space now, and also all the characters are in uppercase. Okay, and this is the function we are using, input a string dot trim dot ToUpper. So the next one we will use substring function. So substring is, suppose that you want to extract a text from a string from the 5th index, you can use substring. So let's see how it works. So we will give the same data, and here we will use substring, and then it is asking for a start index. So we'll give a start index as 5, because we want to extract from 5th character, and then we can provide the length, or we can choose to ignore it. So let's ignore it for first time and then run it. So now you can see it is giving the data from each test data. It has ignored this. And what if we provide some length? So length means if you want to extract some characters, not all the characters. So suppose that you want to start from 5th character and you want to extract only 3 characters. Then you can use 5,3. So you can see it is just extracting each, and there will be one space here. Now let's go one step further and let's change the string first, make it email ID. So I have kept my email ID here, and suppose that I want to extract only username from here and I don't want to extract gmail.com. So for that, what we will do, we will use the input string and then we have to use substring. So substring means we want to extract from the first character itself. So for 5, we are going to make it 0. It means it will start from first character. And then we have to extract only till here. It means we have to identify where is @ like the position of the @. So for that, what we will do, we will use IndexOf. So again, we will put input string dot IndexOf, and then we'll put @. So now as you can see, it will start from 0 and it will extract only till @. Okay, so let's save it and run it now. So you can see we have a part of this particular email ID. Now what if you want to extract the domain name, not the username? So for that, what we will do, we will simply remove this 0 from here. It means that it will extract the data only from @. And I am not going to give any length because we are not aware like how lengthy the domain name is going to be. So we will keep it as it is and then we'll run. So now you can see it is bringing @gmail.com. Now suppose that you want to avoid this @ also. So for that, what you have to do, you have to just put a +1. It means that you are saying that whatever the index is coming from @ and add one more character. It means that index will start from @+1. It means it will be from G. So now you can see we are getting gmail.com. So now the next part. Suppose that instead of gmail.com, you want to make it gmail.in. What you will do for that? You have to use a replace function. So let's use replace and then .com in double quote, put .com, like whatever you want to replace, and then put comma and put .in. So what it is going to do, it will try to find .com in this input string variable and then it will replace it to .in. So as you can see, now it is gmail.in. Okay, we can do one more thing here in the message box. Let's put input a string. So if you don't know, this is a concatenation. So if you want to join multiple string variables, you can use plus here. So it is like one variable plus, then one string, then again plus, then another string. So as you can see, earlier it was gmail.com, now it is gmail.in. Now suppose that you want to put some validation, like email ID should always contain @gmail.com or email ID should always end with @gmail.com. How to put that validation? For that, let's put one if activity. So if activity I kept here, then I will put input a string dot ends with, then we'll put @gmail.com. Okay. Now let's put one message box here and just mention it true. And in the else box, we can make it false. Let's run it. So it is saying true. It means it was having gmail.com. What if I make it yahoo.com? So now you can see it is saying false. And in the next part as well, it has replaced .com with .in because we are replacing .com with .in in this function. And this was ends with. We can also use a starts with. So if you want to make it a starts with a, so it means a email ID, if it starts with a, then only it will come as true. So what if I remove a from here? It should say false. So you can see it is saying now false. Now I will delete this if condition. Let's try length function. So suppose that you want to know how many characters are present in this string. Okay. For that, what you have to do is input a string dot length, length. Okay. Now it is giving an error because this length function returns an integer and this output string is a string variable. So for that, we have to do, we have to convert into dot to a string. So now you can see we have converted it to dot to a string. So save it and run it. So now it is saying it has 22 characters. Now let's play with a split function and the join function. So for that, what we have to do, let's change this a string. So let's keep 1, 2, 3. Okay. So suppose that you have one string, comma separated or anything separated, like a space separated or any other character. Okay. So if you want to split into an array or you want to stack the data into an array, for that what we have to do, we have to use a split function. So let's see how to work on that. So we'll take one variable array and then in the variable type we have to select array of t and then let's use a string and let's delete this assign activity for now and we'll take another assign. We'll put array, then input a string, the variable name dot a split, and then we have to give the separator. So here we have comma, so let's keep comma and we have to use C here to convert this particular string in a character. So it is done. Now we can use here array dot length. So now you can see in this array we have 9 characters. And to see that array, what we can do, we can run this in a debug mode. So here you can see we have an array variable and these are the strings. Okay, now suppose that we have an array and we want to convert into a string. So for that, what we will do, let's take one more assign activity and take same output a string. Then now we will take a string dot join and then we'll pass this separator. So now suppose that we want to separate it with a pipeline. So let's give that pipe symbol and then comma and then the array variable. Okay, and let's print this output a string. So now you can see what it did. It had input a string in a comma separated. It converted that string to an array format. Now using this join function, we have again converted this array back to one string variable and we have changed the separator. So comma became pipe and you can see here, this is the output. So this is all in today's session. If you need any help with any of the function for string manipulation or any other question in UiPath, write down in the comment section and I will try to answer that in your comment section or I can make a video on top of it. And please don't forget to subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss any video from my end. Thanks for watching. See you in the next video.